so I took it, working for his company, and I ran the office here of James Cook and Hobson. And we sold pumps and cooling towers and boilers and water and wastewater treatment equipment. And so that was my new job, and it turned out to be a smart move for me. It was a good business, and we were able to save some nickels. That this house was not at all like this when we started, and so we were able to pay for that and to raise our kids. We lived in El Paso most of our kids' life. Our youngest daughter lived out here with us, and she went to Franklin, and probably not your favorite school.
Yeah, I was in the first graduating class at Franklin.
And so about 7 years ago, I was looking at retirement. I'd worked long hours when I was in business, and so I've always worked. And we were out here and pretty much had the house done, and I was going to have a lot of time, and we had some land. As Susie said, each of the grandkids got 3 acres from my grandparents, and so we got the old house and a couple of acres. My older brother's got 3 acres, and that's what the vineyard is on, and my younger brother leases his house over here, and it's in Cotton. But so we started thinking about what will we do in retirement, and we had been blessed with a good business and had been able to save some money, and we had land, and we had water, and we had time. And so since we went to a church, or we go to a church in El Paso by the name of First Christian Church. It's at 901 Arizona, and some of our members didn't have enough food to eat. So we were growing some vegetables, and we said, well, let's take some stuff down there, and maybe it'll help people. And so I think the first year we wound up with, I don't know what we grew the very first year. The second year we were taking vegetables down, and we had about 12,000 pounds of vegetables that we took down there. We started keeping records, and then the second year we had more than the people at our church could eat, and so we hooked up with the Kelly Memorial Food Pantry, and they were distributing food to the public if they met certain qualifications. And so I had extra food. I knew the guy in charge, and I asked him if he could use it, and he said sure. And so we established a relationship between this ground, this garden, and a distribution point called Kelly Memorial Food Pantry. It's at 915 Florence. It's where the old St. George's Church was. It's now vacant, but they had a well, in the beginning, they were distributing food out of Trinity First United Methodist, and they moved over about 5 years ago to the old St. George's property. And so our relationship grew over the years. So it was 12,000 the first year, then 25, and then 45, and then 65, and then it went to 90. And last year we delivered 115,000 pounds of vegetables to Kelly Memorial. And the clientele that they have about 5,000 families on their rolls, and they can come and get a box of food once a month. They used to distribute county-wide. It has since shrunk to 7 zip codes, and they're pretty much in the downtown area: 01, 02, 03, 05, 10, and 15, and they've added 12. So 7 on the west side. There was no food distribution, and a lot of people don't know, but there are people who are eligible for getting food at Kelly that live in the 1-2 zip code, and that always surprises somebody. But you've got some concentrations in zip code 12 that where the people do qualify, and so those 7 zip codes are serviced by Kelly now. And we wind up providing about 10 to 12% of the food that they distribute there. The clientele get the best produce in El Paso. You can go to Sprouts, you can go to Albertsons, any of those places. Their food was picked 2-3 weeks ago, and they've got this transportation time issue. But the people down at Kelly, they'll get food that we pick on a Wednesday morning, and it'll be on their table that night.